Well, welcome everybody to Opportunities in Law and Technology at Penn. This is our moment to share with you some of the stuff we're doing here. We are trying to make sort of a world-class law and technology program. And for those of you who, this is really intended for new students here at the school to give you an idea of what that means and what the opportunities are as early as you can, get an idea of what awaits you and the kinds of things we're doing. Part of it, some of the things we'll talk about today will not be actionable for you until your upper level, until your second and third year, but we want to give you a roadmap as soon as possible to make that all clear. A couple of administrative announcements. One, this session is being recorded for the benefit of students who could not attend. So in full disclosure, just be aware that anything you say will be recorded. And second is that we will circulate the slides to everyone who has RSVP'd. Particularly the last slide involves contact information for you to follow up with different people and that sort of things. You don't need to scribble them all down. You'll get them all at the end. All right? So what are we doing? We're trying to really create an exceptional fusion in the classic Penn way of interdisciplinary work really focusing on law and technology. And like any great system, it depends on having great faculty. And in fact, we're lucky to have three of them here in the room with us. Among others, we have Paul Wagner, who's our patent specialist, Gus Hurwitz, who does telecom, cybersecurity, antitrust, Cindy Dahl, who does the clinic, and we'll all talk about them all individually and get the chance to talk about what they're doing. But in addition, we have people doing other things, health law with Professor Hoffman. We have David Hoffman, who's done law and technology in a contracts basis. Herb Hovenkamp, who's probably the world's leading antitrust scholar and so forth. And I encourage you to get to know all of them, Professor Barchamovsky, Professor Rothman, Professor Wilkinson-Ryan. All of you will have a chance to, some of you are taking classes with some of these people now, and you'll get a chance to get acquainted with them. But I would say one of the great opportunities at Penn is that the faculty doors are really open, and there's more opportunity based on our size and our culture to really have the kind of relationship with students, with faculty that's pretty rare. And I would encourage you all to take advantage of it as much as possible, because I think it's one of the great opportunities that we have here. Okay. So that's the faculty, and I'm going to breeze through this pretty quickly because we've got a lot of ground to cover. We actually just, to give a little bit more structure to what we do at CTIC, which is the center that we do things, the overall umbrella is on the research and the leadership side is the Center for Technology, Innovation, and Competition, otherwise known as CTIC. Among other things, CTIC consists of several staff. In addition to Professor Wagner, who's the co-director, and Professor Hurwitz, who is the academic director, we have in the room Eileen Kenny, who is our communications director, who is responsible for a lot of the communication, all the communications you'll see, essentially. And a person who is also very important in terms of working with students is Caroline Olson, our managing director, who could not be here today, but will do everything from help connect you to research opportunities and with faculty, to help look at resumes and think about different professional opportunities. She's done hiring for the two biggest law firms in Philadelphia, so she has experience on that side. And plus, I think she's just a tremendous resource, which our students have really taken advantage of. CTIC, in addition to the personnel, one way to think about this is dividing into 6 different areas. They are, in no particular order, internet and privacy, intellectual property, competition law, entertainment and media law, healthcare, and emerging technologies. Emerging technologies sort of being a catch-all for everything that doesn't fit the other categories to some extent, but an obvious thing is like AI. AI doesn't really fit any of these rubrics, but it's a way we think about things. This is sort of a way just to, frankly, organize things in your head and figure out how you plug in. As you know from law, all categories are problematic in some ways because they're always going to be close cases on either side that cause difficult things. So it's not intended to be prescriptive, but just to give you an idea of the kinds of things we're involved with. And we will do activities in all these different areas through the course of the year. So I encourage you to we have an email list. I encourage you to subscribe to it. You'll find out everything that's going on at my meeting. Right? So in addition, so let's start to burrow down into some of these. One of the things we've done to try to make it an acceptable program is to have certain kinds of experiences which we think are really distinctive and allow students who have an interest in law and technology to really explore it in a way that I don't know that many other schools do. And one example just off the top is a labor of love for Professor Wagner and me. Journal of Law and Innovation is something that we've created over the years. It is really unlike other journal. It's unlike any other journal in the school, and unlike any other journal most journals I know of in the law technology space. So it is run with as a joint faculty-student-led journal, which is taught as a class in a seminar on a specific topic in the fall for credit and grade. And then operates, we have a conference usually at the very beginning of the fall, the spring semester, called late January. I think last year we did the first week of February because of scheduling issues. In the spring is the classic journal experience where you edit and you do have the process of turning the submissions of the participants in the conference into the actual publication. And so one of the great things about it is that it creates a level of interaction and a depth of exploration of a particular topic that's not really possible in another journal setting, and I think that we find it pretty exceptional. But in addition, what I really think is pretty interesting, because it's taught as a class, many students can be a member of a more traditional journal at the same time, because of you have the relief on your schedule, because it covers one of your classes, it allows you to explore it. But to me, it's really kind of wonderful because the students, it's become a focal point for people interested in the law and technology space. We have a series of social calendars where you interact with faculty and students just interact with each other. And it's become, one of the hopes we had for it is to become a gathering place for people who are interested in this. And it's worked out that way. This year's topic is on AI standards as a mode of governance. It's funny, someone told me that over half the submissions of articles to the law review this year are about AI. And the problem is there's a lot of things being submitted, but very little useful being said. And it's kind of, it's one of these areas we always go through. But in the past, we've done antitrust in digital platforms, links between copyright and patent law, smart contracts, real estate innovation policy. That's things like tax policy and other things. And then innovation at the time of crisis, which is something that Professor Wagner had taught several years ago. Anyway, so this is something. We have here the two editors-in-chief of the journal, Jack and Sophie. So, you want to say hello?
Yep.
One of the things I've been asked to do is you have to, because it's being recorded, if you don't do this, no one will hear what you say.
You have to push it, or
It's green. If it's green, it's on.
Hi everyone, I'm Jack, I'm a 3L.
Hi, I'm Sophie, also 3L. We're the co-EICs this year for JLI. Professor, you basically just gave the speech we were planning to give about this being a faculty and student-led journal. But I'm going to let Jack speak a little bit more on why this might be an enticing opportunity for students.
Yeah, I mean, often we're associated with being kind of Penn's tech law journal, but it's definitely not a requirement that you have a STEM background. We have a lot of members that do have STEM backgrounds, but both of my degrees before law school are actually in classical music performance. This journal, as Professor you mentioned, you're really dealing with the most cutting-edge legal issues. You're reading about things that happened in the last couple of weeks, or years, or months, whereas in your 1L doctrinals, you're often reading about issues that happened in the last decades or even centuries. So it's a really unique opportunity to kind of take those concepts you learned in those classes and apply them to really the most recent modern issues that are facing society. So Sophie will talk a little bit more about the application process.
Yeah, so probably hear more about this later on, but we don't participate in the write-on competition that is for law review, which happens after spring exams. We have a separate direct application that'll probably go out sometime in the mid-spring semester, probably in March. And you can be on JLI in another journal. There are a lot of people who do it, but it's a great opportunity, so we hope to see a lot of you apply.
All right, terrific. Professor Wagner, you want to say anything about the journal? Okay, so that's great. That's one of the things we do. Another exceptional opportunity we have is the Decade Intellectual Property and Technology Law Clinic. But because we have the person who leads it here, I'm not going to talk. I'm going to let her give a description of this because she can do it much better.
Great, thank you. I am Cindy Dahl. I lead the Deccan Technology and, Deccan patent, oh goodness, DIPTIC.
Intellectual Property and Technology Legal Clinic.
Yeah, Intellectual Property and Technology Legal Clinic. Anyway, this is an opportunity that is available to 3Ls and 2Ls, and it gives you an opportunity to take all the great law that you've learned in your substantive IB classes and apply it to client work. It's live client work. These clients are yours. And what kinds of clients do we handle? We handle early stage entrepreneurs, inventors, the Penn Center for Innovation gives us a lot of good work, artists, and nonprofits. And basically, it's a holistic IP clinic, so you will delve into the realm of patent, trade secret, copyright, trademark, and increasingly privacy and data protection issues. Speaking of AI, we get a whole lot of AI questions, but a variety of cutting-edge legal questions in the clinic. There is an application process for this as well. It actually comes out through the registrar's office. The reason that this clinic is different from other clinics is because although it is not required that you have a technology or a STEM background to be part of the clinic, we do need some of those students in order to handle some of the great work we get from the Penn Center for Innovation. But it is open to all students that are interested in IP and technology, and so look for an email from the registrar about how to apply, and I look forward to meeting all of you.
For those of you who don't go away, Cindy, you're on the next slide too. So, among other things, one of the big changes in legal education is the growing emphasis on experiential learning. And in many bars, they're expanding the amount of credits required to actually sit for the bar. So this is one of the ways we're meeting that, and it's really an exceptional opportunity. A lot of the technology law clinics, one of the things that you'll find for clinics is they have the state bars put a lot of requirements on it. Particularly, you can only work for nonprofits and indigents because you don't want clinics taking away paying work from lawyers who need to do it for a living. And the innovation we have here is tied with the Penn Center of Innovation, which is our technology transfer office. Is instead of getting early stage, very small enterprises, you get really mature technologies, which are often fantastic options. So in addition to that, Professor Dahl is inherently involved in a number of in addition to the actual clinic, there's a bunch of other experiential type programs which you can take for credit, most of which are supervised by Professor Dahl. So I will let her talk your way through Iron Tech Lawyer, I know, Keiretsu is yours, People is yours, and Iron Walls?
All me. Yeah.
All you.
All me. Okay, great. These are a variety of opportunities. I'm happy to answer questions offline, or please just send me an email about any of them that seem interesting for you. But these are with the exception of, People also is outside of the law school. These are all opportunities outside the law school where you can get to practice or get exposure to what it's like to be an IP attorney. So Law Without Walls is a credit-bearing program that allows you to come together with international students to solve a legal problem. It's all simulated, but it's interesting and allows you to work with students outside of Penn Law, international students. Iron Tech Lawyer is a program that Georgetown runs, similar, but it's domestic, where you're trying to come up in a team with tech solutions to real problems, and then it is a competition, sort of like a court. It's all transactional. Keiretsu Forum is an externship where you actually do due diligence on early stage companies that Keiretsu, which is an angel investment group, might be interested in funding. So you go to the investment meetings, you sit with the angel investors, you listen to all of the pitches, you give your feedback, and then if any of the companies progress to the next stage where they would like to do some due diligence on them, you're part of the due diligence team. So you don't actually have clients in any of these, but the Keiretsu Forum does give students that are interested in potentially going into a practice where you have to counsel a lot of early stage entrepreneurs in funding, an opportunity to see some of that in action. I think there are folks that are actually going to speak more to people, so I'll just say that this is a great opportunity to get some counseling in simulation exposure, and this is a group that has been going for about 10 years. It's a partnership between the engineering school and us.
Okay, perfect, thank you. In addition to those, we actually have other semester-long opportunities. One that, again, Professor Dahl supervises. Our technology transfer office does have internships that they do. Wistar Institute is an on-campus biomedical research institute that people have done externships with over the years. We have opportunities to do in the Internet Society, Electronic Frontier Foundation, ACLU. They actually advertise for us. Many of them, in the post-COVID era, these have been much easier to do off-site. I'll tell you right now, in addition, we have, as you probably know, you have a public interest obligation to graduate in your third year. I was just at a conference with the Federal Trade Commissioner. She's interested in having people work as interns for her just in general. In the specific, you can do it for your public service obligation. We have funding through the law school to support travel back and forth to DC if that's something you want to do, and in this day and age it becomes a lot easier. If you want to do, we've had students consider the EFF in San Francisco. It takes a fair amount of doing to do it, because if you're going to be in residence there, you have to essentially do you have to get 12 credits to be a full-time student, and you have to do it through independent research and writing, independent study with some professors. You do externships for credit. They have to cobble it together, but it can be done, and in different ways, shapes, or form, as it could in the ACLU. So if you're interested in these things, we can have conversations with you. They're not simple, but they are unique opportunities which we'd like interested students to take advantage of. All right. We also have a lot of classes. This is the more mundane part of it. One of the great things is, in addition to, one of the things I like about our curriculum is you have 2 electives in your first year. I still remember at the end of my first year, I thought all of law was about, so I was going to write a note for a journal. I was like, am I going to write about property, torts, or contract? And the answer was none of the above, because that's all 100-year-old law that isn't really going anywhere. And the thing I love about our curriculum is we give you a chance to explore some options, in your spring semester that one can allow you to learn about the subject matter, but also signal interest to employers. I still remember my friends who used to want to do international law. The interview was like, well, I'm interested in international law. What do you know about it? Nothing. I've got a week of courses, and it seems really interesting. I mean, it's not a great situation to be in. I think the students are really benefit from doing that. Intro to IP is one of the classes taught by Professor Wagner, as one of the electives, as is Internet Law this year, but we teach patent, copyright, trademarks, antitrust stuff, health stuff, all the stuff you see here. And so I would encourage you all to think about doing it. And in addition, Professor Wagner teaches patent in a very innovative way, and I'd like him to talk about some of the things he's doing.
All right, thanks. So patent law we do in a little bit of an unusual format. It's very simulation oriented. We don't lecture. It's each week is a series of exercises rather than your traditional class, which is a little bit of an interesting way to do it. I also teach a class in appellate advocacy at the Federal Circuit, which is also very practice oriented. We compete at a national level in a national appellate court competition that ends up at the Federal Circuit in Washington, D.C. All of these, the patent litigation course that Judge Jordan teaches with, in conjunction with one of our alums, is also a really interesting course where they go through sort of the stages of a patent litigation and the actual documents created. And there's a variety of electives that also have interesting ways of teaching. So I think a lot of what is innovative about our area of curriculum is that we have a lot of courses that take on the important issues in law and technology, but do so in a lot of ways that are pretty non-traditional.
And what Professor Wagner, emphasizing Judge Jordan, he was a district judge in Delaware and continues to sit by, he just retired, but continues to sit by designation. For those of you who don't know, Delaware is probably the most important patent court in the country. Each of those judges carries a docket of about 200 cases, something like that. I mean, that's a lot. And so we're actually in a very unique position, especially because Delaware doesn't really have any law schools, is that we actually have extremely close ties. Wider's half Delaware, half Pennsylvania. But we have very close ties to the Delaware bar. It just shows up in our corporate law work, but also shows up in our patent work very clearly. And so this is a pretty exceptional opportunity we have to make those sorts of ties work. And in addition, what we see for LM students in the room, we do have an intellectual property and technology law concentration, which you can satisfy by taking, I think it's 4 classes within that discipline. If you're interested, we can talk about that further. Right. Okay, so that's on classes. In addition, this is one of the hallmarks of Penn is its interdisciplinary nature. And just to let you know, we have a number of joint degrees. There is a joint degree where you can actually have a number of students who over the years, in addition to getting a JD, have gotten a master's in engineering, a master's in computer information technology. That's one of the opportunities. We actually have one of those students here in the room, even as we speak, and that's Jess. So Jess would like to introduce you and have you say hello.
Thank you. Hi everyone, it's good to be here, good to see all of you. So my name is Jessie Levin, I'm a 3L, and I was really excited and I'm still excited that I'm doing this joint degree. I was interested in the joint degree because as I got through my law school career, I realized I was more interested in the technical side of privacy and of patent law. and it's something that I felt like if I was going to get an opportunity to delve into it, why not? If anyone has any questions, I'll stay afterwards, or I can give you my email. Yeah, the CTIC has provided a lot of support. There is the interdisciplinary scholarship, which has made this extra year in the engineering school basically seamless. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, I'll be here after.
I'll ask you one question while you're here. What was your undergraduate major?
My undergrad major was in public policy. So.
And among other things, we have a CTIC sponsors career lunches, and one of our speakers on October 16th, I think it is on Teddy Josephson was an English speaker here at Penn, and did the MCIT program and reinvented herself as a tech law attorney. They're one of the first people to go through the program, majored in political science and Latin. And his standing joke was he was more qualified to be the Pope than he was to be a tech lawyer. And so this is one of those things that you can, it's an interesting opportunity for people who want to pursue it. You can be a tech lawyer without having to do this. It's just, I guess my reaction is there's different levels. You know, if you really want that kind of training for particular careers, it makes sense. But with it, we also offer a curriculum here where if you just want to do your 3 years here, plus the support we do for interdisciplinary classes outside, every school says they do it. We actually make it easy and we mean it. I mean, we will say take 4 classes outside the school and we'll support you. And frankly, it costs the school money and we don't care. We believe. And so, I mean, that's why most schools say they do it, but don't really, they sort of actively discourage you for doing it or leaving it up to you. We actively encourage our students to do it. And I think that it's something, if you're interested, to take advantage of. You can do it through the Certificate in Engineering Entrepreneurship, which some of our students have done over in the engineering school, and there's other programs as well that I would strongly encourage you to consider. All right? So there's that. And in addition, I want to introduce some. We not only have opportunities for our students to take classes in other schools, but we actually have programs to get people from other schools to come here. Oh, is Amanda here? I think not, correct?
She's going to be here in about 2 minutes.
Okay. So while, to fill that 2 minutes, Professor Hurwitz is one of the people that's involved in actually not so much getting our students educated in other schools, but other people in other schools getting educated here at law school.
Yes, so you might have noticed technology is taking over the world. It is everywhere. Christopher Joe sort of mentioned before about artificial intelligence and the journals, how 50+% of articles submitted to journals this past year were about artificial intelligence. That's not just in the law. Everywhere technology is taking over and artificial intelligence is taking over. And the weird thing about all of this is in every field, they're asking policy questions about artificial intelligence and technology and how this stuff is reshaping their disciplines. And when they think policy, they look to the lawyers and the law school. So we, not just us, not just CTIC, but everyone in this room is at the center of these discussions about society-wide change. Law and policy is not just a law thing, it's an everything. And you are the people that everyone is looking to help understand this stuff. And we are the people who are trying to facilitate these discussions across the university. So among other things, I help to facilitate and coordinate some of the efforts, such as Jesse's with the JD, MCIT, and MSc programs, but also Amanda Aronoff, who will be coming through. Look at that, it's coming through the door right now. She's your go-to person for anything about JD students interested in visa degree opportunities. But I'm also working extensively with the School of Engineering and several other schools to create opportunities for their students and their faculty to engage with us here at the law school. And that includes many opportunities that you'll hear about from time to time that are targeted at law students plus other students, trying to create events, classes, speaking engagements, and the like that are really bringing students from across campus, either here or sometimes asking you all to walk across the street to other buildings. I know that's a big ask, but to engage with your counterparts across the university at this truly interdisciplinary intersection.
Say hello, Amanda.
Hello, everyone. I'm Amanda Aronoff. I am the Managing Director of Cross-Disciplinary Programs and a proud alum of Penn Law. I just want you all to have my face and my email because a lot of this is going to be one-on-one work. But I am here to help you find the program with one of our sister schools that might help you, or that will help you, reach your career goals and academic goals. So some of these are up there, the JD-MSE, which is specifically for people with, and please, I apologize if Gus already, did you already say, give this?
Just a little bit.
Okay, the JD-MSE, which is specifically for students who have undergraduate degrees in STEM. The JD-NCIT, which I have to say is one of the most unique programs we offer across the board because it is an opportunity for a student who maybe have been a poli-sci undergrad or even an English lit. We had one who can really change the whole trajectory of their career by getting a master's at engineering. So it doesn't require any STEM undergrad. It's an amazing program. That's what Jessie Levin, who may be here somewhere or was. Oh, there she is. Hi, Jessie. She is doing that program. She can speak to how it has opened up her opportunities better than I can. The certificate in engineering entrepreneurship. And one other joint degree I want to mention, which is increasingly popular for students who want to be at the intersection of law and technology, is the JD Masters in Bioethics. That's particularly relevant for students who might want to be in biotech. And then the most incredible part of all this is we have this amazing CTIC interdisciplinary scholarship, thanks to Professor Yu, who really put this together. And what it is it's an opportunity to apply for some funding to help offset the additional cost of some of these programs, because many of them are four-year programs. And we want to make it as easy and accessible as possible to do these programs. So that's really it in a nutshell. Again, I'm here to talk about this with you one-on-one. You email me and we do a meeting, and I'm here the whole entire time you're here to help along the way to figure out what classes you need on the law side, to connect you with the people over at the sister school. So my name again is Amanda Aronoff. My email, I will say it, but I'm sure it's up there at the end. Is aronoff@law.upenn.com, and I hope to hear from many of you. No one regrets getting a second degree while they're here at Penn Law. We make it incredibly easier. You have it for the rest of your life. It may help you with your next job. It may help you down the line 10 years, but it opens up tremendous opportunities.
One of the little facts is there's about a dozen schools at Penn. I believe we have joint degree programs with every single one except for podiatry. During our time here, we actually approved one for veterinary medicine.
Yes, it's a certificate program.
Yeah, and so I think it's one of these things where I can't imagine why that would be a thing, but as long as people want it, so for example, we have a JD-MD program where the person's now a professor in bioethics at Harvard Medical School. And so you see, so for those people for whom it's the right thing, it's a pretty exceptional opportunity. All right. So that's the joint degree programs. In addition, for those of you, particularly those who are 1Ls, we do support a number of public interest fellowships. This is an example of some of the people of public institutions of different kinds, including some things that most people don't think of. Some people have very positive experiences at NASA. White House offices are often very important policymaking ones, although they are obvious to a lot of people, and offices of science and technology policy in particular. And we've had a fair number of people, good luck with helping people get these internships, and we do provide funding through the Toll Public Interest Center to support this. In addition, we had students who've done paid internships over the summer at a wide variety of tech companies. A number of them are listed here. As we said, we'll circulate this list, and in fact, we can help you try to match up with the people who got them to figure out the contacts and figure out how they made that all happen. But as you can see, it's a pretty good range of some of the best tech companies there are out there, so if you're interested in the space, and there's other things that come and go. Teddy, who I mentioned before, will be coming to talk, is just moved from a firm to work to Disney Online Media, their streaming service. And so that's a job that didn't probably exist when she graduated from law school. And so it's pretty interesting. So that's all. So in addition to the summer, there's a lot of opportunities that we'd like to support. In addition to what we do at CTIC, we're fortunate at the school to have a wide range of extremely strong and vital student organizations who provide an additional dimension to your experience here and programming that goes beyond, for example, I'm about to introduce Rebecca and the Penn Intellectual Property Group. They do a conference, they've done a conference every year, and I say this, it's a compliment, it sounds kind of funny. They invite people I would never think to invite. And that's because that's the value of having different people and different experiences, because we all come from someplace, and I think that what they've contributed has been outstanding. I'm going to introduce you, Rebecca, to talk about Penn Election Property Group, and Youngji as well, just to talk about it. All right. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay, hi everyone. Like Professor Yu said, I'm Rebecca. This is Youngji. We're the co-presidents for PIPG this year. We have two main goals that we focus on at PIPG. The first one is really just making sure if you're a 1L who's interested in IP, we're able to connect you with upper level students who can help talk to you about what a career might look like, what they're going into, what classes they found really useful. Maybe if you're coming from a STEM background and you're feeling a little intimidated being here and having all this reading all of a sudden, talking about that kind of thing. So we do want to help build that community. The second main thing that we focus on is putting on different events, which Youngji will talk a little bit more about.
So yeah, like Rebecca said, we are both professional and social organizations centered around IP, so you can meet people within the law school, within your class and others that are interested in just the full spectrum of IP, just not just patents as we might think about it, but trademarks, copyright, etc. So we have a lot of events also targeted around helping you learn. Maybe you came into law school thinking you wanted to do patents, which is what I came in thinking, and you want to learn more about what else is out there within that sphere. Or you want to learn, all right, I know what I want to go into, but what does the career day-to-day look like 3, 5, 10 years outside of law school? So we'll have a bunch of professional, both firm and sort of alumni events throughout the year. We will also have a symposium in spring that centers around sort of like really nascent IP topics. Please get involved. Our 1L rep application is open, but we're just looking forward to meeting you guys.
Terrific, thank you very much. Since I've got you up, Rebecca, you want to talk about people?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I'm Rebecca, along with Daniel Nicastro, who wasn't able to be here today. We are the co-presidents of People, which is a program Professor Dahl touched on a little bit already. Basically what we do is we pair generally partnerships of law students with a group of engineering students who are working on a simulated startup. And what you get to work through with them is thinking about all the IP and tech issues that might come up for them. So for example, are they licensing this technology? Do they need to worry about trademarking their name? Is it available? And what the big advantage of doing this, I think especially as a 1L, is it gives you an opportunity to actually simulate what working with a client would be like. It gets you a chance to actually practice some of the skills that you'll learn about if you take Professor Wagner's IP course, which you absolutely should. And it's a chance to put everything really hands-on. It can also be really beneficial as a 1L. It gives you something interesting and different to talk about if you are going to be doing interviews for the summer. So if you have any questions about that, we are already closed for the fall, but we'll be opening back up in the spring. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Thank you, Rebecca. Mike, why don't you talk about Penn Carry Law Antitrust Association?
All right. Hi, everyone. My name's Mike. I'm co-president for the PCLAA, or the Antitrust Association. So what exactly is antitrust? That's the quick question we always get. It's basically the body of law around anti-competitive practices. So when a company gets too big and maybe tries to restrict other companies from competing with them, that is a body of law that restricts that kind of behavior. In practice, what does that mean? Has anyone here read the Twombly case yet? Yeah. Alright, I'm sorry about that. That is an antitrust case. But has anyone here heard about college athletes potentially getting paid now? That was also an antitrust case. Or Google getting broken up. Also an antitrust case. Or the government investigating Live Nation after the T-Swift ticket fiasco. Also antitrust. So antitrust really touches on a lot of the most interesting, kind of innovative, exciting areas of law. It's also one of the most diverse areas of law. So if you're interested in transactional or M&A work, there's an antitrust component there. If you're interested in litigation, there's an antitrust component there too. It's one of the few areas of law that does both. If you're interested in international law, there's a huge international practice for antitrust. If you're interested in IP, tech, AI, there's a lot of antitrust cases there. If you're interested in healthcare, if you're interested in sports, antitrust really touches on every industry. There's criminal, there's civil, there's government work, there's in-house work, there's big law work, there's just tons and tons. And so PCLA, we host events with big law firms, with government officials. We had Lena Khan, head of the FTC, speak last year. We host a symposium and a trip to DC. We're a very, very active group, and so we do a lot of exciting things. If you're interested in getting involved or you think antitrust might be something that you'd love to explore a little more, there are a few ways to get involved. One is you can sign up to a 1L rep. We'll have our apps coming out soon. It's a pretty low-level commitment, but there's opportunities to get more involved and to go on some of our trips and attend a lot of our kind of exclusive events if you are interested in that. And then we also have 2 exciting events next week. One is Antitrust 101, where we can learn what exactly is antitrust on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we have an in-house panel with attorneys from, I believe it's Microsoft, Cisco, and Apple, coming to talk about their recent antitrust cases and efforts and how they made the pivot from law school to big law all the way to in-house. So happy to answer any questions if anyone has any, but it's a really exciting opportunity and hoping to see some of you come out to the event.
Great. Ben, Ryan, why don't you tell us about ITSC?
Hello, my name is Ben. I'm a 2L.
I'm Ryan, I'm also a 2L.
Push starts already.
It's on.
Oh, okay, got it. Thank you. We are the ITSC. We really view the tech side of that as kind of like a large umbrella, almost like a catch-all. We have very different backgrounds. I have a background in biopharmaceuticals.
I work at an entertainment and tech company for law school.
Yeah, and essentially we're just a group of students who are interested in exploring the intersection between tech, internet, and the law, and maybe pursuing careers in that intersection.
So we invite speakers who do antitrust work, we invite speakers who do IP litigation, data privacy, and in the spring we do host a organization-wide networking event with a bunch of the nation's preeminent law firms across the country. They all come in. It's a really good way to speak to attorneys in a more intimate setting than like the huge fair you guys will have with all your peers. So we're gonna have our first GPM next week. We'll also have 1L apps open then as well. So hope to see you there.
Terrific. Thank you very much. Ben, tell us about ESLS, please.
Hey everyone, I'm Penn. I'm the co-president of the Entertainment Sports Law Society. So by show of hands, who likes sports? Who likes entertainment? If your hand's not up, you're lying. You all should join because of that. But all jokes aside, what makes it interesting is it's industry focused. So it covers a lot of different areas of law. I mean, it covers tech, it covers copyright, IP, it covers collective bargaining, labor agreements, private equity, and M&A. It covers everything, and it's a little bit of a misnomer because entertainment and sports are the same thing. When you think of sports, sometimes you don't really think of the entertainment side, but sports is entertainment. So, as much as it's sports and entertainment, they both kind of mix, which is why we have it together. And, what we do is we host various events and have various panels. So we have panels throughout the semesters and then a symposium in the spring. We bring great speakers in. We have general counsels of places like A24. We have the president of the ex-president of the Science Channel in today doing an event at 12:30. And then we also have had events with different teams and leagues, so like general counsel of the NBA, general counsel of New York Jets and things of that nature. So it's really a wide mix of interests. And when you think of the cross focus of sports and entertainment too, NIL is an issue in the sports side with agents, and then it's also protecting the rights of different artists and musicians and things of that nature. So we like to have a mix of those, and it's a really great club. For 1Ls to get involved, we have applications opening, and they close on October 6th, and that's a 1L rep. So you'll help with different events, help us with the various needs we need, and also write a blog post on our website. It's a great way to get involved this year, and it's also great networking because you get to meet great professionals in the space, and they love coming here and love talking to everybody. So if you're interested, we're also going to be at the career fair, the panel for the club fair at 4:30 today too. We're going to have a space, so if you want to come and put your name down and email, we can also get you on our listserv, which will send different blast emails on different events and things like that going on. So thank you.
And lastly, Jenna Park for STEM Club.
Hi everyone, I'm Jenna. I'm the co-president of the STEM Club. We are a group of students who have a wide variety of interests ranging from obviously IP and healthcare law, but also malpractice and tax liability. In the fall, we plan on creating opportunities for students interested in STEM law to find mentors, and in the spring, we are planning on collaborating with firms to invite them in to give talks, and also maybe for us to have an opportunity to provide networking platforms for all of you. We're also going to be at the club fair today at 4:30. please be on the lookout for our 1L application that would be circulated soon and the listserv. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. I strongly encourage you to take advantage of the clubs because they're fantastic. So one of the things that, if you're a 1L, you haven't figured this out yet, in August of next year, you'll be recruiting for a summer associate position, and 80% of you or so will go to the position after graduation that you did between your second and third year summer. So basically about 11 months from now, you'll be having that active negotiation, and you gotta figure out what you wanna do. You don't know how to target firms that are, this is, the subject matter of these clubs will help you explore what that might be for you. And you have a general interest now, but that will help refine you and talk to people. The second thing is, the best piece of advice I can give to 1Ls is talk to 2Ls and 3Ls. They were you not that long ago. And they've been through it, and they have, whatever questions you have or worries you have, they were there in a very vivid way. One of the best places to get to know upper class students is in the clubs. Because they're the people who it's accessible, and they're the people that share the same interests as you by definition. And they have the most relevant experiences. It's a great opportunity. I would really encourage all of you to do it. Because that's, all of us looking back, we depended on people ahead of us helping us navigate the different pitfalls, and if we didn't have access to those people, we wouldn't have survived. And so I think that this is a great way to do it. I strongly encourage you. Okay? All right, so in addition to that, just so you know, there have been a bunch of student events that have, just to give you examples of things we've done last year, you'll expect to see them again this year. We've already talked about the Journal of Law Innovation. We do monthly career speakers, we do programs. So there's gonna be one, we do generally there's one on September 24th, we already have planned. It's essentially a preview of the coming year in law, which is always runs a wide variety of topics. We've done stuff, Ben mentioned name, image, likeness, we've done programs on that, patent, copyright, trademark, communications law, all these different things. Sign up for the list, find out what they are, take advantage of them. But in addition, there's some interesting research opportunities that, in fact, some of these are mine. You know, I work on connecting people globally and doing empirical research, algo watch, routing security, different things. And there's two opportunities. Professor Wagner is doing some interesting work on AI. You're actively looking for people to help you.
Yep, I'm always interested in looking for students who are really interested in learning more about AI, and in particular helping build AI tools that could be used both in research and in legal education. So if that interests you, find me, because I have a lab that I run that we do a lot of that in.
Terrific. And in addition, one of the things that's coming that Professor Hurwitz's going to get involved in, and this is not for sure, but one of the things we do is we teach ethics and technology to undergraduate engineering students. And there is a world in which we will actually modify that class to help to have students, law students, serve as TAs for this class. Both in terms of helping instruct it, ideally people from a background that's relevant to these people. If that happens, we'll probably know in about a month when the early registration goes through. If you're interested, let Professor Hurwitz know now. I'm not that this is something you might want to do, particularly as upper level students. It's maybe more appropriate for them than as a 1L. But this is something that if you're interested, please let him know. I think that can be helpful. Plus, if you go to Ms. Olson, our managing director, she is the person who matches RAs up with faculty members and different people. She often sees a central point that keeps tabs on what all of us need to do. And so I encourage you to take advantage of that, because that's another level for people who are really interested to really work closely with faculty and get involved in an issue on a deeper level. So it's a great opportunity. In addition, we do a bunch of events, some of which are open to the whole public, some of which are closed door for faculty. We do stuff in the copyright space. We do things in computer, science and law, trademark, global patent conference. We're doing a junior faculty forum for law and STEM. That's next week. But again, that's just for junior faculty. It's a closed door room. Just so you know, we're doing the AI Standards Conference with JLI in January on the 24th, I believe. And in fact, so keep your eyes open for this, and we'll continue. This is just what we have. We know we have planned now. There'll be more things added to the calendar throughout the year, because that's what we do it. All right. And in addition, something you may have seen that came out in Penn today, that we actually are involved in a $10 million center to the new Penn Center on Media Technology and Democracy. This is studying the impact of primarily, think about it, social media. It's empirically studying this impact of social media on elections. And in fact, I love the empirical work, because once you're in theoretical work, anything you can argue in theory is plausible, and everything's arguable in theory. And in fact, empirics is what we ground ourselves with. There are some great world-class colleges here doing it, and it's a combination of a bunch of schools. There's fellow positions and other things involved in this. If you're interested, come let us know, and we can probably get you involved. And then lastly, just concrete on the calendar. This is stuff from last year. We did, as Mike mentioned, have Lena Khan last year. We usually do something in the health space. Last year was psychedelics, because that's what the medical ethics and health policy people are interested in. It's regulated as a controlled substance, but we now know that things like psychedelic mushrooms have tremendous therapeutic benefits for mental health issues. And so trying to understand how to navigate that's interesting. We did, the AI Law Labs did a how-to thing on AI, which is something I think every student was interested in. Content moderation is a big deal. One of our alums is the head of what's essentially a small claims court for copyright claims under what's known as the CASE Act, and we had a variety of speakers, and we'll keep adding them throughout the year. We do have some already on the schedule. As I mentioned, on September 24th, the current and emerging issues is there. It's at 4:30. I encourage all of you to come. We are having a Junior Faculty Forum at the end of next week. Not open to students, but it's useful just so to let you know it's out there. October 16th is our first career lunch with Teddy Josephson, who's with the Disney streaming service. And as I mentioned, January 24th, the Journal Law of Innovation. We'll generally try to do something like the current and emerging issues in the evening program, like roughly once a month, a couple times in the fall, 3 times in the spring, and we'll try to get about the same number of career speakers, just to give you an idea, get a chance to talk to people who have gone through the same decisions that you're going through right now. All right. And with that, there is, and we will circulate this, there are contact information for the various faculty, and we'll send this to everyone who's registered, so you don't have to scribble this down. And I see people take pictures, so that's fine, I'll wait for a sec. And then this is for this contact information for all the student leaders and student organizations. So if you need to get in touch with them, all of them, as I said, I think that they're great, essential for helping students navigate as well. And in addition, Jesse, your emails. So, all right, and with that, here's propaganda about the kind of stuff we do. Questions? Okay.
Could you elaborate on the TPIC interdisciplinary scholarships, like what the process is, who's eligible?
So, okay, to get, generally it's for the MCIT and MSc joint degrees, so JD, and so what the students have to apply to get admitted. And in general, that the biggest obstacle there is you have to take the GMAT, the GRE. And so that it's another standardized test, and you just have to take time to do it procedurally. You have to do it. Once you're admitted, basically, we then make it, we look at the people who are admitted, and we help and partly it's a function of how many students are in the program. I think the maximum we've had 1 year was 3. Yes?
Are any of the JD MSc programs for research masters?
I don't think so. So the MSc is really intended for engineering undergrads, and there's a fairly it's fairly stratified. Master's curriculum is bing, 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 bing. And it's a 3-semester sequence, basically. And so it's because they've had prior engineering training, you can do it in 3 semesters. The MCIT program, because it's open to people who don't have the background, is technically a 4-semester program. So what you effectively do, you do it after your second year.
Yeah, so your first year, it's like 1L where everything's prescribed, and then your second year you can take electives, master's level electives. But I think to your point about like what research can you do, I'm in a health technology informatics where our final project is like a research question. And so you can take like CIS 700 level electives where you can do research to fulfill one of your elective requirements.
And with like everything, I mean, the different classes have different emphases, and there's more opportunities. And I'll tell you, even outside the class, chances are if you walk into someone's office and ask if you're interested in getting involved in research, we're open to it. It has to be the right fit with the right student. And there are times I needed someone who spoke French. It was very weird. So, but it just works in different ways at different places. But the MCIT, the way it works is, even though it's a 2-year program, effectively you can count some of your law classes as electives in the MCIT program and vice versa. So even though it's 3 + 2, you do it before. All right? Any other questions? Okay. With that, I'll close it. This video will be available online. We'll send you the slides. All of us will remain down here for a few minutes if you have any questions for you. And we hope to see you further in our classes and in these events.